Connecting the dots, connecting his guests to the world, creating more connections.
Yeah.
Welcome to The Connection with your host, Jay Morales, podcasting from the Parkville Studios.
What's going on today is episode number 11. So sometimes I like to do things impromptu. I got a special guest for you guys. It's Chad Ellison. Yeah. Enjoy. Get your notes ready. Get your notebook out. I want to give you insight into Chad Ellison right here. So I want to say thank you for joining us today on The Connection. Your host, Jay Morales. I got Chad Ellison. He's a realtor. But before you did real estate, Chad, what did you do?
I was in corporate America for about 10 years.
Cool. Talking to the microphone. I won't bite you back, bro. So, okay, you're in corporate America. I get it. So what's corporate America? Define that for some people, because some people don't know because they don't know they're in corporate America. What does that mean?
Corporate America to me is basically your very structured day-to-day, come in with an agenda. You're working for somebody else.
Yeah, true. I mean, I get that, right? People say punching in, people are managing you. There's a hierarchy. There's nothing wrong with that. Right?
Very
There's
political.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely. You got to worry about being 2 minutes late. And, listen, no knock on that. So 10 years of it. Mm-hmm. What broke for you to say, I no longer want to do this? I don't know what I want to do, but I no longer want to do this. What broke you? What broke you?
Just a lack of freedom and a lack of, to be honest with you, I was wore out. After 10 years of that and working 60 hours for, somebody else, I was wore out. I'd be asleep by 8 o'clock every night. And
man,
it's just not worth it.
And you basically had the same routine over and over again. You knew it was predictable. Maybe you like some of the people you worked with, some people you didn't.
And that's what I miss. I mean, people, do you miss where you used to work? No, but I miss the people, absolutely.
See, that's the thing. I think business is business. It doesn't matter if it's a retail store or a hospital or a church or whatever the business is, right? It's people that make that business. And making the transition from an employee like you did to a business owner, what surprised you the most, bro? What surprised you from like, all right, I ain't got no boss now?
Biggest surprise, I think that's kind of tough because it's all brand new to me. I mean, everything was a surprise, really. You got to get up and you got to be accountable to yourself. You're not accountable to I am my boss. So,
right.
I got to fire myself if I'm not busy that day or making phone calls or following up with people.
I'm
true. Accountable to myself, nobody else.
And that's hard. People think it's easy. People think, I ain't got no boss. I don't have to be anywhere. Boy, this bed is comfortable. Mm-hmm. You had to transition yourself. You can cough. It doesn't matter. It's real radio. Who cares? Seriously, if you don't like it, push pause or stop. Here's the thing. I don't know, man. For me, everybody I think is infatuated with being a business owner. There's a lot of people say, I want to be my own boss. I want to own a business. I want to be the CEO. I think that's all glamorous and sexy, but I want to talk to you about the side that's not glamorous and sexy. What else besides accountability? What else is there?
What else is good?
Yeah, or good or bad.
It's actually a book you gave me recently, this Slight Edge,
Yeah.
The thing that was hardest for me to transition to was, in my 10 years in corporate America, I was never in sales, ever. Right. I was in ops and service.
Yeah.
So transitioning to this where you got to go, promote yourself and promote your business and try to grow from a sales aspect, that's totally new to me.
Think about that.
But going back to the Slight Edge, one of the things I read in there was, you could be a dentist, you could be, a cupcake maker, and your number one business is sales.
Yeah, people don't think about that.
If you could be the best dentist in the world, but if you don't have any teeth to clean,
that's true. Then you're broke,
right?
And beyond broke, broke is a state of mind. But you're right. The business needs income. Any business. So let me, with that book, what did it make you think differently? Like what was something like, man, I never, ooh.
I wouldn't say it necessarily opened my eyes, but one of the things that it really hit on hard for me was, it's the little things. It's the daily routine, that makes the difference. It's continuing to get up and do those things that other people aren't willing to do, and being consistent at it.
That's true.
You're not going to tip the scale with 1 grain of salt, but if every day you're putting, 2, 3, 4 grains of salt on there, after a week, you might start tipping that scale.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because everyone thinks it's instant success and that it's, I don't know, instantaneous. Or I don't want to say it's easy, because I think most people in an employment situation with a job and a boss and a structure, there's a lot of things I think in that environment that create stability for sure. Mm-hmm. But they also make comfortability.
Right.
Where, and I've heard people, I want to work somewhere because it's more predictable income. It's more this, more that. Okay.
Which I would argue, so in real estate or in a lot of businesses where you work for yourself, you might not see a paycheck for a month.
Right. Or sometimes 2,
or
right?
2,
and
right.
Then a big 5 to 10 month, what you used to make in 1 month, a big old, yeah.
So people are very uncomfortable with that. Well, my argument, and they go back to, I get paid every Friday or, twice a month. My argument with that to be, you can lose your job at any time. There's no security in that either.
Absolutely. That's probably a customer of yours calling right now. So while you're...
No, just my buddy Scotty.
Okay, good. So Scotty, but see, that's the other thing, right? As a business owner, you have to know when to turn it on and turn it off. You've got to know for yourself, like, okay, man, like, I've got to discipline myself. Come on, Chad, let's go fishing right now. Well, if you're in the middle of sales or in the middle of serving your customer, in the middle of a transaction, in the middle of waiting for a phone call, you just can't up and go. And here's how I look at business ownership. Right now, Chad, you as a realtor, many people write you a check, right? Your customers, your clients, and your partners, they write you a check per se. Not a check, but a profit. Mm-hmm. At employment, guess what you have? You only have one boss writing you one check. Well, just immediately, if you got 30, 40 people paying you a year versus one person paying you a year, do you see the difference?
Absolutely.
Just right there? If the one person stops paying you for whatever reason, because they go bankrupt or they figure they don't like you anymore, if out of 30 people, one doesn't like you, are you still okay?
Sure.
Yeah. That's stability. That's paycheck, or that's income. And to me, most people are like, I need to know I'm making $41.66 per month. That's $50,000 a year minus taxes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, I think you're held at ransom, especially when your ideas aren't the same as theirs. Mm-hmm. So, Chad, what do you think about that? I'm going to give my politically correct answer to you because I know that I don't want to make you mad because you're going to do my performance review. But now, if a customer says to you, I don't like the way you look, Chad, and your beard is just bothering me, you can truly say, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm going to refer you over to Jay.
Right.
No, you're not going to refer him over to Jay. Let's be honest. But I don't know. So what if somebody now is stuck at their job and they're miserable and you're talking to them right now because they are listening right now. They're saying, what's Chad up to? Chad, talk to that person right now. Talk to that guy stuck in the cubicle, in the truck, in a routine at the counter. Talk to that person. They want what you want.
Something that always hits home with me is I saw a Steve Harvey clip when he came.
Yes,
it was after what show?
It shows
What's the show?
Family Feud. I know what you're already going to talk about, bro.
And it was just a little clip. I'm pretty sure it was after the airing was already done, and he was just talking to the crowd, and he said, basically the gist of it was, you just got to jump.
Yes.
You just got to do it.
I saw that one. Did you send that to me at one point, or did you tell me that?
Possibly.
Because honestly, he's like, bruh,
but that's
if you got to do, you just got to jump.
Yeah.
Because most people want to be like, I'm going to try this. And that's okay that people try. But I think if you're going to give it good effort, right? Because we're trained in our lives at 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You get the weekends off. That's all society, right? That was created by man. And that was created by society to say, that's what your work hours are. There's overtime, which kills me too. There's overtime and there's bonus money and all that other stuff. But as business ownership, you want to raise this month?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Do you want to raise this month as a business owner?
Yeah.
Well, you know what you got to do, right?
Sure.
Just got to work harder. Do you get a performance report right now? Not really.
I get a performance report anytime I look at my numbers.
Yes.
I can tell how I'm doing, if I'm behind, if I'm ahead. But no, it's not somebody sitting me down and say, oh, this is how you did last quarter, or, last week. This is what we got to do next month.
That's so profound, Chad, what you just said. My numbers tell me how I'm doing. That's so cool. But here's the other part. Do you ever lie to your numbers? Like, well, I couldn't. Do you ever side skirt it? Do you know what I'm saying? Or justify?
I mean, I try not to, because you're just lying to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other part, where I think as a business owner, I've seen you like transform, little by little, right? We're not going to say like you turned into the Incredible Hulk in 4 minutes, but over time, I've seen you make big, changes, positive changes and stretches. So here's what I'm asking you is the Miracle Morning. You gave that book to one of your buddies and you're like, I Jay Morales somebody. Anyway, you said just the one little thing that you're doing. Share that with us about the Miracle Morning and what improvement it has made in your life.
The Miracle Morning, for me, I mean, the ultimate message is just get your day started out right. If you're getting up at 8 o'clock, you're getting in the shower, you're doing this, doing that. You're not getting started on your day till 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Oh,
so a big thing for me was, getting my day started at 6:30 a.m.
And not many people can say that, bro.
Yeah.
Some people would argue against you too and say, it doesn't matter what time I go to work. What do you say to that person? I don't care.
And I mean, to me, it just kind of feeds, you get your morning started right. That leads to a good morning, leads to a good afternoon, leads to a good week, leads to a good quarter, leads to a good year.
Yeah.
It just builds on each other, on one another. And if you start your morning out bad, that's going to lead to a bad afternoon, lead to a bad week, lead to a bad quarter.
Dang, you're a motivational speaker, bro. You're a motivational speaker. Check you. So let me ask you, 4 years ago, before you started this journey, did you think like you think now, or is it mind shit?
Not at all. I didn't think outside of the box. I thought of my own little world.
How could I end the day?
Right.
What time is it? Did you read before you started your entrepreneurial journey? A little
bit, not like I do now.
But you're reading on purpose now to get you hyped up and jammed up. So sales, you talked about sales earlier. You know what? Forget sales. Let's talk about fun. Because people think, oh man, you own your own business. That's too much work. What do you do outside of business to make it fun? I know family's important to you. You have nieces and nephews, correct?
Yep.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about what your entrepreneurism allows you to do with your time.
All kinds of stuff. I mean, I may be tied up on an evening or on a weekend when, everybody else is free, but, working for myself and working some of those hours that other people aren't willing to work, that also allows me to take off in the morning and go fishing one day or go see my niece's recital or, I shouldn't say I don't have to ask anybody, but
you don't.
I mean, for the most part, if I got something to do, I got something to do.
Right. Right.
And the flip side of that is, maybe I am working some additional hours on a off time, so to speak, but that just frees me up to do things when everybody else is working their typical 8 to 5.
Or they're just stuck.
Right.
And you can plan ahead and say, listen, these 2 weeks, I'm gone. Mm-hmm. And the word vacation request is not even in your vocabulary,
I take my laptop and my phone everywhere I go.
Right, because the hustle means this is you, and you are this. And let me ask you this. Let's just say you're in Vegas or you're out, where Colorado, whatever, and someone calls you and says, hey, I need some help with your business. Do you look at that as work, as in labor, or is it something you enjoy?
I look at work now as it's a totally different paradigm shift for a mindset. When I used to work 60 hours a week, oh my gosh, I hate working 60 hours a week. Now I love working 60 hours a week.
Right, because
if I'm working 60 hours a week, that means I'm busy. That means I got stuff going on. That means I got income coming in.
Yes.
If I'm working 20 hours a week, guess what that means?
It means
I don't have things going on. I don't have incoming coming in. So I love the busy weeks now.
What do you do to stay focused then? Because honestly, the weather's starting to break, man. You know, I know the fish are calling you. I know the fish are calling. They're like, they're like, Chad, come out and play. Hook us, Chad. Right? What do you do? How do you?
I mean, someday, like today's a tough one. I mean, there's no breeze; it's perfect out. But
I mean, you can catch some fish right now.
You could. You just got to stay disciplined. I mean, like I was saying earlier, with those small things done consistently, done daily.
That's
hey, wake up every morning. Get your workout in. Get your however many phone calls you have on your agenda for that day. Get your couple notes written, whatever it is on your agenda. Get those knocked out. And guess what? If you get those knocked out by noon, go fishing.
I'm telling you, most people, I think, even when they have a job and they over vacation, right? Because they vacation. And then they vacation for 5 days, stuff piles up, people get mad at them. You know what I want someone to think with a job right now, and most, not all jobs, but most. When you're in an employee position, is it true or not that people are climbing the corporate ladder? That's true, right?
Sure.
So do you think the higher you climb the ladder, the less you have to work? Or the more you have to work?
The more. Absolutely,
exactly.
The more.
Because they want
more responsibility, everything.
They want to squeeze the juice out of, hey, you're making 50,000 before, you're making 70 now. Now we expect you to work 70 hours a week. And guess what? They do. Nothing wrong with that. Because again, I'm not knocking people with jobs. I need to be clear here because I've been challenged a couple times with my outspokenness. I don't care what you have, whether it be a job or a boss. But here's the other thing. You have a real estate business. One day, and you're working towards this, that you'll be able to not work while your business still makes money. And technically it does, because you have systems in place. And if the house is, one of your listings go up like, last week and it sells, I mean, you don't even need to be around for most of that. I think what happens is people just get really comfortable and then they start blaming other things. And I think it's easy to do that in a job.
Sure.
Is that fair to say? And when you start blaming stuff, do you think you get more productive or less productive?
Absolutely less.
So,
if you're playing the blame game, I mean, you're not improving.
No, and I'm telling you, man, we should have this conversation sooner than later. I mean, you're saying some profound things that they're not surprising me that they're coming out of your mouth, but you're just a quiet, laid back, soak it in kind of guy. You're not really flamboyant or like, hey, blah, you should just listen to Tony Robbins. I think that you really listen to people and you like to soak stuff in. And I'm starting to borrow some of those characteristics from you. I don't know if I'm practicing them, but I just really think that you can learn a lot from a guy like you who's had your journey from where you were 4 years ago, into discovering a business for yourself, working hard, purchasing a beautiful home, enjoying your time, and then now being able to impact all the people around you because you have enough resources and money and time. And I think you're just beginning. This is just me. I mean, you're not beginning the real estate career. Okay, I'm saying I think you're just beginning to start to leave your comfort zone from what I see, and I think you're starting to challenge yourself in different ways that that most people don't want to challenge themselves, or they have
stay
to
inside
be forced.
The box.
Yes, there's entrepreneurs that stay inside the box. And here's the other thing: people tell me, "Oh, I got a job or I got a business." I'm like, "What's your business?" Well, I own a lawn mowing company. I'm like, "That's amazing." Or I own an electric company. I'm like, "That's freaking awesome. That's great." But the job also owns them, or the business owns them, because if they don't turn that screw or they don't unplunge that toilet, they're not going to get paid. In real estate, I think you set up systems to where if you have a listing, once it's up and you keep in contact with your buyer doesn't know if you're or your seller, they don't know if you're on the golf course or in a boardroom or wherever you are, as long as you do a great job for them. And that's the benefit of entrepreneurship. How about this? What sucks? What would you go back to if you could? Like, hey man, I miss this about corporate America. And if it's nothing, it's nothing.
I mean, owning your own business, I mean, you are kind of, quote unquote, by yourself.
Yes. Entrepreneurship is lonely.
Absolutely. So some of the, well, don't get me wrong, you meet other agents and other folks and, in the business, and it's great. So I don't know. Maybe that's not different, but I guess what I miss from corporate America,
Yeah.
kind of what we said earlier, is I don't miss the job. I miss the people.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do to reach out? You can reach out to them.
Sure.
I
sure.
mean,
And
your friends are always your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I still stay in contact with people I worked with. The transaction I closed last week was somebody I worked with, 4 years ago.
That's awesome.
So just staying in contact with them.
That's huge. That's huge. Let's talk to the entrepreneurs now who just started in their maybe first to 4 years, right? They're just starting to blossom, and they look at you and they say, man, I didn't read. I don't read. Or I look at him and I struggled before, now. But what advice would you give to somebody now that they've committed to this entrepreneurship? Sometimes they feel like going back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to go back. What would you say to that person?
Stick with it. The possibilities are endless. I mean, they really are. It might be tough. I mean, nobody ever said it was easy.
Right.
But, kind of like those slide edge principles, keep at it. Do the little things every day that are going to get you to where you need to be.
I
And
think
eventually
that's important.
you'll get there. Every time you say, oh, I don't need, that's such a small detail. I don't need to worry about that. And then the next day comes along and, oh, that's a small detail. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
No, those small details are what propels you to the next level.
Man, that's so true. So before we wrap this up, I'm going to ask you, and I know this is not going to be an all-inclusive list, but outside of real estate, outside of our team, outside of, Better Homes and Gardens, outside of this job, this career, this profession, this business, who do you talk to? Who's your mentor? Or who do you go to for advice and stuff?
Well, I have my brokers here. I mean, as far as business stuff.
Sure.
Gosh, you really put me on the spot.
I know. Yeah.
I mean,
is there anybody?
I have a handful of people that I can go
Do you?
to, depending on the situation. I mean, I talk to my immediate family, sister, brother-in-law, parents about
Good.
certain things.
Good. Good.
Talk to you about different things.
Sure.
Talk
But I'm
to
inside.
friends about different things.
Okay, so you're not inside your own head all the time.
Right.
Do you know how hard that is to do, to get out of your own head and actually talk to people?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with entrepreneurship. You think something, you never talk about it, and it caves your head in. That's the worst thing you can do. Anybody you want to shout out to? Like, hey, what's up? Oh, you know what? I want to send a shout out to Levi, because it had not been for Levi, I would have not met you,
That's
or
true. That's
Kara.
true.
And honestly, like, serendipitous. I believe things happen for a reason. And when I met you years ago, we were just, hey, what's up? Want to talk about fantasy football? Nah. Okay. Right? That was it.
Right.
That was it. That was both of us.
Right.
And we've both grown. But, I'm better to know you for sure, man. And just sitting here with you on this, 20 minutes or so really opened my eyes. This is kind of like therapy you need. And I'm listening to this right now. And I know the person listening to the Connection podcast right now is saying, man, that guy Chad Ellison, I'd like to meet him. How do people get in contact with you? What's your contact info so that they can reach out to you?
People can always call me if they got questions about anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be real estate related. I try to be a source for many things.
That's the other thing.
Anything local.
You've created a lot of connections.
Right.
Like if it said, yo, I need a plumber. Hey, what
Right.
lake do I
need
fish
concrete
at?
help.
Concrete,
I need whatever,
yes.
landscaping, or
Yes.
electrician. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's not even things to do with house. I mean, I got an accountant.
Yeah.
I got a financial advisor that
Man.
I try to help people out with. So
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And that's why you're here on the Connections, because you've got all these relationships, Chad, and I have enjoyed watching you grow over the years. And I do want to thank our sponsor, though, today. Our sponsor is the Omaha Gift Company. So check out the omahagiftcompany.com. Enter code JAY for the promo code to take 5% off your order, and be thoughtful when you give that gift. Chad, thank you for being on with me today, bro.
Thanks, Jay.
This was awesome, dude. Until we meet again. A Parkville Media production.